Hi, this is Christina with Treasure Books of Georgia, and I am here with my 35th journal to do a flip through for you. It is a little different than what I normally do. It is a Halloween journal, but it's not too creepy. There's a couple of creepy things in there, but it's not too bad. A little bit of housekeeping. She's 9 inches long, about 6.5 inches wide. There is a 3-inch spine, and I've sewn each of the signatures in with these glass beads. She's held together with just a simple black ribbon. The front of the book, the front of the journal, this is just a digital that's been printed on muslin, and I've attached it to black cardstock, some burlap, and some black tulle. And on the back, I left plain. This is some material that I got at a quilt shop, but I think it kind of matched our Halloween theme. And then you can kind of see the side, all kinds of pretty Halloween colors. With 3 signatures, there's over 188 pages, so she is quite full. I've broken the journal up into 3 sections. The first section is haunted houses, the second one is witches, and the third one is pumpkins, but there is some crossover in each of the sections. Right here in the beginning, and there's a card that has my logo and name and the date that I made it the journal. The signatures are enclosed in this craft cardstock, and what I did is I printed the digital on vellum, and then I sewed it to the cardstock. Right here in the beginning, this is a lot of mixed media, and I didn't want to cover it up. It is sprayed with Lindy's Magicals, which I think it has a nice shimmer to it. Most, if not all, the digitals come from Creative Fabrica. And right here, we have our first little pocket. Lovely little fly, and another little journaling card with a pumpkin on it. I have a little haunted house. I did a little bit of collaging on it, and you can journal on the back of that, and it fits in that little corner. I just love the colors of this digital. I think they're just so pretty. In addition to the digitals, I also have papers that I've dyed, and this came out very purpley, so I've created this little waterfall, and in each one of these little pockets is a little purple haunted house, and which is haunted house but pretty, and gorgeous trim, kind of a velvety feel to it. Our first charm here that I've resined, and you can move these charms around to anywhere in the book that you would like. This is another one of the haunted houses that was printed on muslin, and it says this house is haunted, which I don't know if it is, but it kind of looks creepy. And then you've got a little journaling card there. The blues, this was I did in the sun with some stencils, some dyeing. I just love the color, that color blue, and I just love this tree. I think it's just enough creep factor. And then a couple of little journaling cards there. And here we have a lovely little rat trick-or-treat and a frog having a good time. And on this page, I used the little glossy accents. And they're hard to see, but you can feel them on the page. Kind of neat. And a little tag here. It says midnight, and it says midnight calls, and I must answer. And of course, nevermore. Can't have creepy without nevermore. Here are some ephemera little journaling cards that look like old library cards, and then you have a picture of this lovely fella here. And this particular digital I printed on newsprint, and I just love the colors, how they came out. Some burned edges here on that paper, and then I think this is just an extra digital that I had that you can put anywhere in the book that you want, and it has some journaling space there. And of course, lots of stamping and alcohol ink drips. And this, I love this digital along with this lace. I think this lace is just gorgeous, and it picks up some of the red in the picture. And then of course, roses, not quite Halloween, but a little bit. And I love these ghosts, although I probably wouldn't want to meet them anywhere, but they're so cute. You've got a little collage card here that says Ghost Crossing, and then it says less spirits dance in the pale moonlight, and then you've got a little journaling card there. Again, another little ephemera library card, and I think this is, I love the colors, even though it is a graveyard. The night sky weaves dreams and nightmares in the moonlight. This particular page was one that I had coffee dyed, but then my printer was very nice to me this time and let me print a digital on it, and I just think it came out just gorgeous. Here's our center with our haunted house and our little pumpkins, and in the center you've got these little 3 beads that hang down, our little glass beads. And I did leave some pages blank. Another little haunted house, a little boo there. Another part of the graveyard, and it says the graveyard shift. And this is the other part of that digital that I was able to print on coffee dyed paper. I love this tree. Here's another printing, not a mistake, but I tried something different. Didn't quite come out right, but I loved how it did come out, so I've kept it in there. And then you've got another little resined charm there. I love this lace. I think it's this is from my friend in India. And then you've got a little charm here. Again, more of that from that newsprint. You can have some journaling space there. And this lovely fella, I don't know if his name is Fella, but anyways, this a scarecrow I probably would not want to meet. And then another waterfall we have with blues, and these are just little tags, little cross, or a little, what am I trying to say? Spider web, and of course a cauldron. And this is my favorite little guy, little bat I've got hanging upside down. And there's a little bat tag, oops, I have it upside down, and a butterfly. And some really pretty lace. Again, the other part where I did some stenciling and some dyeing out in the sun. Gorgeous, gorgeous lace that picks up the colors in the tree, in the house. This is the 35th journal. And this deep purple, I just love that. And just a little cluster here. And in this, another one that was printed on muslin, and I did just a small little journal. You've got a couple of little tags here, some paper that you can journal on, and I believe there's a little charm in the back, and it just goes right in that little pocket. And then this is the end of the first signature, and again, lots of mixed media. And so our second one is witches. And again, more mixed media, and you can kind of see the shimmer that I used on one of the sprays. Whispers are heard everywhere, and then we've got a little witch journaling card there. And another little resin charm. And I love this little belly band. I think this is so cute. Of course, a black cat, and spiders can't have either one of those, or can't have Halloween without either one of those. And of course, a hat. And this scarecrow, I added some bits of burlap to it. I think I made him scarier. And this is just a piece of ephemera from Tim Holtz. And then picture this lovely lady to the bottom of the grave, and then a couple of little journaling cards there. And then I took just a photo frame and added some acetate and a couple of pictures, journaling cards of black cats, which are just, I think, adorable. And then we have a little tag here that says black cats are everywhere. I think that she's very pretty. And this is probably my favorite little one. That you see all the cats gathered there. I think that's really cute. And this one, these are more like kind of old nostalgic prints. This is not nostalgic, but the print is. And then a couple of journaling cards with witches there. Same here, another, this is from Tim Holtz. I did some decoupage on that, and then a little witch journaling card. And of course a cauldron. You can't have a witch without a cauldron. And a little tag here, it says Witch's Brew, and a little blue cauldron up in the corner here. And then this, you can tear these papers out and put them anywhere in the journal that you would like. They're just digitals. I've kind of torn to make that little side thing. And then this is held inside a pocket, I'm sorry, not a pocket, but a photo corners, and you can journal on that, and that stays, oops, get back in there, buddy. Goes right back in there. There we go. And then on this side, oops, sorry, let me put him back. This beautiful, again, it's kind of that velvety trim, and then you've got another charm here. And here you've got a little witch card, several witch cards. This silence conceals eerie tales. And then this, I don't know why that one makes me laugh. But the corner pockets are actually made from, that I had printed on vellum for another project, but it just matched the digital perfectly. Made a little pocket here, another witch tag. And then these are the tattered leaves from Tim Holtz. And then there's little witch cards in each one of them. And again, some burned paper. Some journaling space here, and of course you can't have Halloween without Dracula and a tombstone, and then a little snippet that says try to be brave, and then of course you've got spiders and little insects there. This is from Tim Holtz material, and I believe it was from his holiday palette, and I just used it as a belly band, and then made a little envelope with, of course, a little tag for a bat, and a wax seal, and inside here you've got a piece of index card that I have not journaled on, but mixed media, and then a piece of handmade paper that goes inside this little envelope. There's plenty of room for you to add more stuff if you would like. It just goes in that little pocket. And then our center is our witches, again printed on vellum, and then you've got your 3 glass beads. And again, another one of those vintage pictures. Little pocket there. And I love this. We created this little belly band with these mason jar ephemera, and then witches there, and a little card there, and some journaling space there, and of course our upside down bat, and then a couple of bat tags in that little pocket. And in here again, another one of those nostalgia prints, and I love the gold leaves. I think they're so pretty. And then just another little journaling card here in this little, you got our little crossover with our pumpkins with our witches, and some journaling there. And this is a card, I did not draw the witch. This was something that, a digital that I did do some Copic coloring on, and you can either journal on this or you can send it out card. But I thought it doesn't look like a mean witch, it's a cute witch. Some more journaling there, and then our lovely little woman shows up again. Here again, the tattered leaves, some cards here and in here, and this one says, I believe it says we fly. I'm sorry, we fly at midnight. And you've got little tuck spots everywhere there. Here, Shadow Whispers Secrets Only the Moon Knows, and a little owl journaling card there. And this I printed up, the Witch's Brew, and it would probably be easy to make if you can find like a dragon scale or a toad, probably a toad, or a wolf tooth. But anyways, you have the recipe just in case, and then you've got cards for your cauldron and a little thing that says Powerful Witch Potion. Here's another cauldron that's a little prettier, and our black cat. And then again, more mixed media on index card, and then a couple of other journaling cards. And of course a raven or crow, and a little collage here with our raven, and a couple of extra pieces of ephemera that you can place somewhere else in the book if you'd like. And our owl, and you can journal on the back of that. And I believe that brings us to the end of our second signature for witches. And starting on our third is pumpkins. I love that digital. I think that's so pretty. And again, more mixed media. And I do love how this page came together, even though he does look a little creepy. But I did some dyeing on muslin and kind of pulled the colors for the pumpkin. A leaf that I had gotten from my yard and dried and laminated. And this, if you look closely, you can see there's a pumpkin in the background. But I had an extra piece of vellum, and I just sewed it over the picture that I had colored on the back, and it just I don't know. I thought it came out kind of clever. More of our pumpkins, and of course a witch's broom. And I think these are wooden buttons of cats here in the corner, and a couple of journaling cards. And this is kind of the creepy page. If you don't like spiders, you won't like that. And then a couple of cards here. It says Scream Silently. And then we have, this is a resined tag here with a spider. And then our little teddy bear, who doesn't look very happy, but he's kind of cute. And then a couple of little journaling cards here of pumpkins. And then I added some buttons here in the corners, and eyes in the shadow. And this is another copy of again, I did not draw the pumpkin, but I did use not watercolors, but colored pencils. And you can either journal on that or maybe send that out to somebody. And then there's your digital. And this page, I do love this page. I think the colors are so brilliant. It's creepy, but I think it's just beautiful. You've got another blue pumpkin here, just a little charm. Again, you can move this anywhere in the book you'd want. Another one of the tattered leaves and some more mixed media on index cards. Put him back there. Our little bat shows up again, Silent Guardians of the Night, and then a couple of journaling cards here, and then another, oops, I got ahead of myself. Lovely little pumpkin here, and it said, "The night becomes a canvas for the spectral and the strange." And a really pretty digital here. And then another resin pumpkin here. And then you've got a little journaling card there, and I just did some stamping in the background. And here is our center for our pumpkins, beautiful orange, and our little pumpkin there in the corner. Again, another piece of the Tim Holtz little belly band, and then you've got a couple pieces of ephemera in here, and then a little journaling card there. Oops. And just some journaling space here, a little pumpkin, and then another journaling, like a library card here. And I just did some different kind of stamping with leaves on the background of that particular digital. Another little charm here, and then a journaling card there that's held with those little hands. A couple of, I think there's three tags here in this particular little pocket. And let's see here. Oh, I just think those colors are just gorgeous. And here, of course, we have a werewolf. I think he's a werewolf. Can't have Halloween without a werewolf. And then I took a digital, pumpkin digital, and just laminated it. And then the pocket has, this is a little bit harder. You could probably turn that into a tag. And then this is kind of creepy. Don't touch the doll, it's haunted. And that goes right in there. Of course, our spider shows up again. You've got a little spider tag and a little journaling card here and a little charm that has a spider web on it. Here, I feel like someone's watching me. I love those little eyes. Just a little corner tag with some ephemera in there that you can place in the journal. Oops, go back in there, little buddy. And then we've got a couple of little pieces. I think that's really cute, that bat. And we're almost at the end. Oh, I love this pumpkin. I love the checkerboard. What am I trying to say? Digital at the bottom. And then I found this button. I thought it matched it really well. And of course, another tattered leaf. And this is some vintage lace. This, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Orange lace. And inside, I took this particular digital and laminated it. I just thought he was just so pretty. And inside is all kinds of ephemera that you can put anywhere in the book. Oh, and this is funny. This ghost, I must have dropped a piece of ink on him, but it was right in his eye, which made him even creepier, so I kept him in there. Anyways, lots of ephemera that you can place throughout the book. And that brings us to the end. I love all these placard, Eyes in the Shadow, Graveyard Shift, Pitch Dark. And so that brings us to the end of the journal, but a couple things I want to show you. It does include a writing board that you can use for the journal. And then I've got this little journaling, small little journal, a little pocket there. And inside, this is a writing thing here. I think I just, come back here. I think you go back in there. And then you've got some different places that you can journal if you'd like. And that comes with it. And a whole bunch of additional ephemera that I had left over. But I thought, you could use it to put anywhere, in the book that you want. So that brings us to the end. Again, thank you so much for watching. This was difficult for me to get filmed. I kind of struggled yesterday and had to give up, but hopefully I've gotten through today and it all worked out. Have a great week. And again, thank you so much for watching. Bye.